Yo, 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 welcome back to another FPL banter. As you can see, someone has called in unavailable. Goba, actually, you know what? This is a mistake, actually. Chaps is here. Goba is the one that's not here. Goba is, he's let us know he's not available, so we came up with a very nice idea, thanks to Chaps. He said, hey, we need a nice thing there instead of the logo. And yeah, man, as you can see, we don't know. Every week it's something different. Um, but yeah, that's just us having some banter. So we're going to be joined in by Boba's stand-in here, who's sick, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. But what we're going to go through is we're going to take a look at the fixture ticker because everybody's wild carding and looking at the fixture turn basically. So we're going to just spot out like what are the great fixtures, who are the team with the fixtures, and look at it from an overall standpoint, not necessarily attacking or just defensive. And then we're going to go into what the template is. So the most players within the teams that everybody's wild carding. And then we're going to take a look at our teams as well and see where we're at. Big surprise. Chaps himself is on the wild card. Chaps, tell us, man, what is it like to be on the wild card?
Wild card.
Are you looking
Yeah.
Are you nervous? How many?
No. Wild card wild card is stressful, bro. It's stressful. So every day you like come up with a new draft because you like think to yourself, ish, that player sucks. Why didn't you even think about that guy? And the following day is like same thing. Like, what the hell was I thinking? And then until obviously until the deadline.
Deadline.
Yeah. So don't be surprised if you see a different team come the weekend after the deadline. Yeah. So
no, but I mean that's why I think we're gonna go through what we're gonna go through. So let's go jump straight to the fixture ticker. So it's like I said, it's assorted by game week 10 to game week 16, and basically overall, was Pumia fighting with something there? What's happening?
Yeah, she's in the kitchen fighting, so I don't know what's going on. But she's done now.
Fighting with the pot. So we're gonna be doing looking at fixtures game week 10 to game week 16, which is round about the second international break. The next international break is going to be between 12 and 13. So we look at the next 4 fixtures after that just to kind of plan, see how you guys can plan, look further ahead. And then it's sorted out basically from overall, not necessarily attacking. But we have left in the team's rating in terms of star rating, in terms of whether or not they have a good attack and good defense. So right off the bat, we can see Brighton. And I think, chaps, this is something a lot of people are contemplating is who's the best Brighton asset to actually have, considering the rotation De Zerbi has. I think we all can agree Matoma's somebody good, but there's definitely some budget enablers there, like Adingra. Adingra. And I think also if you're looking for a cheaper striker, in my opinion, I would take a punt on Ferguson because Welbeck is injured. If not Ferguson and you really want to go cheaper, then João Pedro. Is it João Pedro? Yeah, João Pedro. Yeah, João Pedro. Because of course, he's on penalties, but also he's played a considerable amount of minutes in the past 2 Premier League games. So that means to me, because before it was a matter of De Zerbi when the question came up, like, yo, this guy was killing for you in preseason. Why is he not playing? And he's on penalties. And it was like, he doesn't understand what I want from us yet, from me yet. He can't give us what I want there. The moment he can, I'm putting him in. So I think injuries and maybe this is it. Maybe he's starting to understand what's popping,
Yeah, look, I mean, with Brighton, I understand why they're at the top because, like, literally the next 4 games are like probably based on how they play is like seriously the best bunch of fixes put together in a row.
In a row.
And they are so winnable for them. It's just that the problem is now with all the injuries that they have, it's so hard picking on players. The downside to Brighton is that they never keep a clean sheet. So choosing a defender, that's out the window. You know, they've shown no sort of um, proof that they can keep a clean sheet, even when Stupinan was there. So now, I mean, even March picked up an injury, so it's even worse, and he's not even a left back. So it's a hell of a lot worse. So I wouldn't even bother with any defenders. So the only real options, from a Brighton's perspective, is the attackers. And to be honest, there's only three people you can look at that you would possibly think that have a better chance of playing every single game. And those three options are none other than Mitoma, then Ferguson, as you said, and João Pedro. Yes, two of them are strikers, and that's because Welbeck just picked up an injury. So yeah, I think João Pedro was probably the better option as a striker. I think recently he started to play, get a lot of minutes, should I say, and he's on penalties. So I think he's the better option. Ferguson, to be honest, is actually a lot more expensive than João Pedro. He's 6 million. João Pedro's 5.3. So yeah, Pedro could be a bit of a bargain. And we all know Mitoma's 6.5. He's a midfielder. And in one of the midfield spots, there's a whole lot of good midfielders out there. So in terms of Brighton, for me, I would rather it's either Mitoma or João Pedro that I would pick. But yeah, I think maybe if you feel that Mitoma's taking too much of your budget, then maybe João Pedro would be a good option because the lack of strikers in the team. And I think because of all the injuries, there'll be less rotation up front than there actually is. Dingra for me, he's sort of cheapish, but he doesn't show like he's an FPL asset. I haven't seen anything from that guy, yes, he scored a goal against Liverpool, but in itself, that was like, one of those lucky the rise goal. It's just one of those things that, just yeah. So for me, it's just Mitoma and Timmy. I really think that Mitoma will be competition on his side. And I think, Pedro's a good option. A good option. Figure out who's going to play Europa and who's going to play. But either way, both of them are going to play both games.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the table overall, in I'm also just looking at so I think to be honest, I feel like it's Man United. Man United in its but looking at our fixture ticket that we have here on the board there, it has what's this? Aston Villa, Fulham, and I don't agree because Aston Villa have the next 3-4 fixtures very favorable, and even then after. But then again, I think what it's really doing is also taking into consideration the long run. So when you look at it really from game week 10, Brighton, Chelsea, whereas when you look at Crystal Palace, they have like an on-off, on-off. Well, they actually have Burnley after Tottenham this game. They have Burnley, Everton, Luton, West Ham, and they have Bournemouth. So, long-term wise, they're better. Of course, Arsenal's definitely better. I'm not sure if I would agree with Wolves. They do also have an on and off type of a thing because it's Newcastle this game week, but then Sheffield, then Tottenham, then Fulham, which is great, then Arsenal.
Another one that I can't agree with there is Burnley. What the hell is Burnley doing above Aston Villa?
So,
I mean, like, geez.
yeah,
in fact, oh my word,
you know what it is?
like,
like I said, for the first few, the thing is when I look at Aston Villa, right? For me, the tough fixtures they have is gonna be Tottenham 1, Man City 2, Arsenal. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 3 difficult fixtures.
And Man City and Arsenal are right at the end. So,
Arsenal's and right at the end. So I don't know if it's really taking it towards a balance. And I guess that's the thing with some fixture tickers I've noticed. Fancy football scouts, their fixture ticker, it tends to heavily, and maybe that's what we need to do. Let me see if I can, for you guys, let's see, if I just go to the next, just off the next international game, we believe is actually a better fixture run. Yeah, to be a better fixture. I'm sure it will real quick replace. I'm doing this for you guys. So change this. Say yes and should updates. There we go. So now this is an updated one, right? Again, Brighton is still at the top because taking into consideration their role fixtures, which is very favorable. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, like we were saying, now you're starting to look at it with Aston Villa. I think just moving to them, I saw one of the questions was, is Watkins? I think that, let me ask you, Chabe, what sacrifices have you had to make, like with your, because have you tried to fit in Salah and Haaland in the same thing? What's your draft been like? Because I'm sure you're looking at the textures and stuff. We'll get to your team later with no spoilers. Well, what's the difficulty you found with trying to set up a team, and how far have you been looking?
Yeah, to be honest, with my wild card, I've set it up according to this, what you're seeing on the screen right now, to these fixtures, up to game week 13. Yeah, so basically, that's how far ahead I'm looking, and that's pretty much how I've set up my wildcard team. So yeah, so it's just literally based on these fixtures. Going beyond that, it's a little bit of a stretch because, in fact, what might happen after the international fixtures as well is a little bit of a risk, but yeah, it's a wild card. I got to try and stretch it out as far as possible.
Yeah.
But because I do know, I think after that game week 13 as well, there's Champions League as well. So yeah, a lot could happen after that as well. So yeah, so literally my team is based on these 4 rounds of fixtures. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. from my team.
I think you know what's also nice and I like about this fixture ticker is showing the attacking and defensive and how low Man City is, yet how good Man City is in attack and defense, yet they're still rated very low. And I think that goes into people's decision making as to like, yo, what and who is the best option when it comes to Salah versus Holland. For me, Liverpool's still a bit too low here considering their star rating in terms of attacking and defense. I feel like they should be more up there by Arsenal, definitely above Man United. But I think that's another thing people are sleeping on. Man United do have some good fixtures. And can I be honest? I've been thinking about Regulon because he's cheap and he's most likely guaranteed game time. He had a very good game last night, in my opinion. Didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw a very nice overlap he did and like crossing. And that's what I'm really looking for to get from him. I don't see him as just a defensive asset. I think he's going to can have some attacking returns in that fixture run of Fulham, Luton, and Everton, you know? Or am I dreaming? You the Man United fan specialist, like
Well, all I can say is, you know what? After watching Fulham and Everton over the weekend, those two games are going to be tough for us. They're going to be tough for us, especially since they're also away. The Luton game, that one definitely I would say go for it. Go for regular, because it's also at home playing Luton. So I don't even think they'll, that is a good option to take. But for Fulham and Everton, that's taking a bit of a risk. After watching Everton actually push Liverpool a little bit, during the game, even though, it was a derby and whatever, but they're playing at home. So we might find it difficult. And then also Fulham, I saw them playing against Spurs. They weren't bad. I mean, we battled against Sheffield United, so that tells you everything that you need to know. So Fulham, I'm also a bit wary as well. I'm a bit wary. But yeah, definitely Luton I think, is probably the game to attack. Not just with defenders, but maybe, if you got the money, then you can go for a Bruno. See if you can't get an assist here. But yeah, Rashford's definitely out of the question. Or if you want to take a punt, go on Hoyland again. Just like our absent friend, Koba, tried. But don't captain. Don't captain. Like Koba.
hey man,
sure Koba learned his lesson.
Hoyland, if it worked out, we would have been like, oh, Hoyland, why didn't we see it, whatever. And I guess that's the thing about
it. Definitely, yada.
That's the thing. But we're just going to go on, what have you done for me lately? That's how we're always going to go on.
It's exactly what I was saying. Why pick Hoyland? I mean, he hasn't done anything yet. Yes, in the Champions League,
but
his form has been, he's showing promise in every game that he plays, but it's just that it's not clicking as a team. So for him to produce, the key needs to click, and that's not happening right now. So that's why for me, he's not an option. And 7 million, you can get other people who can do a little bit better. For that price.
Alvarez, to be honest. I think
Alvarez, you can get Alvarez for that money, and he can do a lot better for you.
I think that's a good segue to the new template. Let's move on to the new template and take a look at what people have been moving towards in terms of a team, basically. So how I put this template together, just to give you guys a bit of background and stuff, is, of course, the most important players everybody's been, wanting to get into their team, but also what helped me to actually confirm that is looking at their ownage, percentage ownage as well. So these are the highest owned percentage players within also their price brackets and also their thingy. So I'm going to start from the top, from the keeper, and then I'm going to work my way to strikers. So everybody already knows they're doing a Ariola and a Turner. And then we've got a Saliba there. But a lot of people who are wild carding, actually are also bringing in Gabriel because they're trying to save some money and put it in. Gabriel is a very good budget enabler, but funny enough, Saliba, I think because of the beginning of the season, still has a high ownage percentage than Gabriel. Gabriel's owning percentage is very low. And then, of course, cash. Trippier is the highest owned player in the defense. So, that's what people got. And then Taylor, of course, is the enabler. And then Udogi as well, coming in there between the 4.0 and 5.0. So that's the defense. And then in the midfield, again, cheaper person being Neto. But then just off the bat, guys, this team, you won't be able to afford it, by the way, because
yeah, I was gonna ask that. There's no way now anybody can make up this team.
I did this mainly for the purpose of who are the highest owned percentage players, because you want to see who the top players are that people are going for, right? We all know who the budget and labels are. In the midfield, people are already talking about Douglas Luiz. We're talking about Cole Palmer. They're talking about Adingra, as we mentioned earlier on as well. So if I could fit in a sixth midfielder here within that price bracket of 5 to 6, it would be Gordon. And that's the decision people are going with right now is, do I go with Neto or do I go with Gordon? And then people are selecting Bowen within that price bracket of 7 to 8. 6 to 7, it's Matoma, who has the highest percentage. And then 8 to 9, it's Saka, who has the highest percentage. And then above that, from 9 to whatever, is Salah. Now, you might say, oh, where's Son? Son did have a high ownage percentage. Again, if I could put a different bracket of 9 to 10, there's not a lot of players who are actually 9 million. Son is actually the only guy running in that price bracket. So it's like I had to put him in the same class as Salah, because honestly, the decisions start coming down to that. And that's what people are doing. They're going like, well, am I going to have Saka or Son? A lot of people are going with Saka now because of the fact that he opens up a whole 1 million for them to be able to actually go through. Just going to between the 6 and the 7 bracket, Diaby is another favorite one where people are actually saying, okay, I could have Matoma, or am I going to have Diaby? Who do I feel like having? We'll speak on that. Let me just get to the strikers. The strikers, I just selected the top 3, and actually the top 3 are Watkins, Alvarez, and Haaland. And then, of course, the budget and labels, of course, is Archer, Mubuma. I can't think of anybody else that most people are actually selecting as budget and labels within the striking. So yeah, within the template, I feel like people are going more 3-4-3 now and shifting away from a 3-5-2. But a lot of the time, the way you do find a 3-5-2, people are very much picking Watkins and Haaland and leaving Alvarez out. And I found that as much as Alvarez is the third highest, I think it's based on the fact that a lot of people still own him or owned him, not that they've brought him in. I'm seeing from like the community, the differential with Alvarez is Nunez. I'm not sure about Nunez. I'm not sure about Nunez. But yeah, that's
faith in the guy, man.
Nah, you know
faith
what?
in the guy.
You know what? I'm gonna hand it over to you, because I want you to also go through the team and like talk to me about where who your team has, who you want, where you've had to make sacrifices as well, because that's why I had this team. I created this team so that people can see like, yo, this is the people we want. realistically, we can't even fit them in. We can't even fit in Son, who we feel should be within the template. But the real truth is, people are deciding whether or not to keep Son, and I feel like the only people who are keeping Son are people who go like, I've got value in Son locked up, which I can't let go of. Who bought him at 9 million and he's 9.5 now, and they can only sell him. They can only sell him for 9.2, so they're
like
gonna
at 9.2 or something.
yeah,
so
they're gonna lose like 0.3, and 0.3, bro, is a lot. 0.3 can give you is the difference between you getting Trippier or not. You know what I mean? So, like, looking at this team, yeah, I want to hand it over to you, bro. I want you to like let me know, like, looking at this team, where you've had to make sacrifices. Who are the players of these players you wanted to bring in or had to bring in? Yeah.
yeah, well, looking at the team, well, I'm going to start with players that I don't have, right, at the moment. So, for one player that I'm looking at seriously or who I want is Bowen from West Ham. So he's got nice fixtures, um, all the way up to 16.
True.
Game week 16.
True.
Yeah, so they're not bad fixtures. You might find that Tottenham is probably the more harder fixture, but all the others, they good fixtures for him, and he's a good fantasy player because he always returns. Not always, but every now and again he comes
He's
up
a
with a
week
goal
in,
or an
week out
assist.
type of player.
Yeah, it's always something good to have. Even though it's a little bit pricey, maybe 7 million, but yeah, he's okay. He's not a bad option. If you feel like Diaby is not for you, then maybe if you've got that 0.3, then you can get him. So that's one person I'm looking at because strictly and at West Ham, he's literally like the only player you can go for. There's Ward Prowse, right? He hasn't returned in a long time, which why a lot of fantasy managers are having doubts about him. So yeah, at the moment at West Ham, it's literally just Bowen. Um, Anybody else that I'm possibly thinking from that team, look for me. The previous game week, I had 3 Spurs players, right, and I got rid of all of them, right, even Udogi, all right. And the reason being, I got rid of Madison and Son. Now, I was strictly just looking at their fixtures and looking at their past performances as well. When they came across, um, teams that sort of can do a low block, they sort of battled a bit. In particularly the game that really stood out was the Sheffield game and the Luton game. For me, I mean, Luton just got promoted and they only managed to score 1 goal. For me, that was a bit disappointing. And then looking ahead to their fixtures, they're coming up against teams like Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Wolves, Aston Villa, and Man City. If you look at those fixtures and you look at those teams with the players that they have, those teams can defend. It's not like they're going to have it's going to be an open game whereby they'll be, easy. It'll be an easy attack for them, for people like Son and Madison.
And I think that's
for me, that's the thing with picking Spurs players. So I don't think they'll be able to break down those teams and get and get the points that they've been getting, with all the other teams that they've been beating. So for me, and for that, Madison and Son, it is just too much. And they cost too much for me to risk it.
Even one of them
against those fixtures.
Yeah.
I mean, even one of them. It's just a little bit too much.
I'm gonna have
Madison. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Saka or Arsenal have got better fixtures, even though the fixtures, got one good fixture, one bad, one good, one bad. I'd rather have that than the type of fixtures that Spurs have.
Yeah.
And with the thing with Spurs is that you never know how long their run is going to last. Yeah, you know what? Great for them. They're having a run, whatever. But we all know eventually it's going to end. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and let's be honest. Yeah, sure, they played against Arsenal and maybe Man United as the tougher teams. But let's be honest, Man United wasn't that tough of a team, and Arsenal, yeah, it was a good game. But other than that, the rest of the other fixtures
Rest
were
of the
like
other fishes, yeah.
literally, yeah, technically they should have won them, um, but you could say they sort of like overachieved, you know. But with these fixtures coming up, maybe with the Wolves game, they could do something there. But other than that, those other fixtures, those are going to be really, really difficult fixtures for them. That is too much to risk it on those type of fixtures. I'd rather get Saka or even a Mitoma, who's even cheaper, or a Bowen, you know. So
What
yeah, for me, it's a,
what in terms of budget enablers, do you think it's worth having Palmer, um, or what would you rather spend a little bit more money and have somebody you're really gonna put in? Because that's my thing about Palmer. Like, yeah, bro, he's been playing well, and yeah, he's on penalties, but like, bro, his fixtures suck so badly compared to the plethora of other
yeah.
players.
Look,
I'd
with,
rather.
with the Palmer situation, he's getting a lot popularity. He's getting famous, and I think the only reason why they're picking him is because he's a budget enabler. And I don't think they really pick him because he's a serious player. He gets a lot of points. It's like literally because he's on penalties. That's it. And he's 4.9. The fixtures aren't that good. They're not playing really that well, almost like Man United. The fixtures look really, really bad. Okay, not that bad, but I mean, the next game is against Brentford, and then Tottenham, and then City, and then Newcastle. So they're not really that good. So for me, it's just that I think for most people, um, Palmer will probably be that fifth midfielder, 4-4-2, or you know just as somebody to come off the bench in an emergency. But as a serious person that you will depend on to get you a lot of points, I don't think Palmer is that guy. It's just strictly just a budget enabler. That's all
What
that
do you
is.
think is the best formation going forward in this fixture swing for this wild card? Like
I think
between
it depends. It depends. It depends on it literally only depends on one question. Are you going with both Haaland and Salah,
uh,
or only one of them?
yeah.
That will determine what your formation will be.
But
If
also,
you're going with both,
mm,
if you're going with both, the only formation you can go with that sort of balances your team out is 4-4-2, right? Because then probably you go with Haaland and Watkins up front, right? But then alternatively, what you could, I don't think you can take a risk without going without Watkins, with the good fixtures that he's having.
nah,
The other option is going 4-5-1, but that's risky without going without
nah.
Watkins.
You
The
for
next
me,
bunch of fixtures.
yeah, for me, it's like, and that's the other thing, bro. It's like, the people that don't have Haaland, right? They're going for three. But for me, it's like, who's your three? Because for me, Watkins and Haaland, to me, are Watkins is essential. Haaland, because of the fixtures, and because of performance, City performance, not necessarily his, because I feel like he's not getting the ball. The moment that guy gets the ball, my man, the moment they can figure out how to get the ball to Haaland, I'm telling you now, City and Haaland are back to thrashing, because Haaland himself, I don't believe is playing bad. No, when I watch him, same guy, but just without the ball. So to me, it's like Watkins essential. Haaland, I think I can put him, if this is essential, I say, okay, should have. And then who's the third? Like, if you take away Haaland, then, and you're going to play with three strikers, who are the other two strikers you're bringing in? Because, in my opinion, bro, like, Alvarez, yes, is a locked in. So you'd have Alvarez also to make sure you're covering goals from City. Then the third one, bro, I don't trust Nunez, bro. You know, out of 4 games, I believe he'll play 3. I believe he'll start in 1. And I think he'll make appearances in the other 3 for like 30 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes in 1. And I'm not sure, based on the great fixtures Liverpool has, that's good enough because Gakpo is still there, dog. He wasn't fit the previous game week.
Yeah, but
And Darwin
he's
didn't
still
even
injured.
train.
He hasn't returned yet.
No, Gakpo he wasn't training and stuff. He wasn't fit. He was on the bench. You understand? Nunes was on the bench against Everton at home, and he played Jota. You understand? Nunes trained and Gakpo trained. So to me, that's going like, how? Okay, the next game then against Nottingham Forest, who are you preferring? Because we all know he prefers Gakpo ahead of Nunes. You understand? And if he really wants to, I think, press, like tactically, I assume Jota's better at actually tactically defensively pressing. And I think that's why he went with him ahead of Thingy. Besides the fact that Darwin was traveling and yes, he did train, but still. And I think he was like, okay, now I just need Darwin to run, which is what he did in the end. And I'm looking at fixtures and I'm like, hey, these guys going for Darwin. Hey, bro, I honestly, I feel like and this is why I said I would rather go for Hoyland because, again, he's locked in. Not that he's a great striker, no, but at least he's going to, I know for a fact he's going to start. 2, he's at least got good fixtures after this Man United. And on top of that, let me ask you a question as a Man United fan. Yes, right now, goals are all over the damn show. But who do you think, if you guys get a goal away, is more likely to score? Bruno than Hoyland. Right now, Rashford, you don't even know where the guy is. Even Harry Maguire is scoring up ahead of Rashford. You know? So I would rather go with Hoyland for that third striker.
Look, man, don't discredit Darwin. Come on. Don't discredit. Yeah, look, I mean, with Darwin.
Darwin, it's more Klopp. It's not Darwin, it's more Klopp that I'm discrediting. Like, I don't trust Klopp.
Look, I think with Darwin and the whole striker situation at Liverpool, or number 9 situation at Liverpool. For me, I think it's more of a tactical type of thing. I think they saw that, in particularly the Everton game, that they were being pressed a lot by Everton, and now they were sitting deep. So they obviously saw that there'll be more chances for us to counter Everton and get a goal that way, rather than just playing possession football than anything. So it was a better tactic to bring him in then and then attack him that way, and start off the game with Jota. I mean, yes, it was after the international break. Yes, he would have been a lot, more tired and whatever. But I think from what I've seen is that Darwin tends to play in more games that are a little bit more open, doesn't need much pressing. So I think those are the type of games that he plays in. And, it does work. I mean, let's be honest. Darwin does get a lot of chances. Eventually it will click for the guy. I mean, yeah, in the last game, he got an assist. So, yeah, look, I mean, he's not a bad pick, but if you don't want to go that route strictly because, you don't trust the number of starts that he's going to get, then look, Hoyland, I keep saying, for me, it's it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
And who you
And
going to?
like strictly, yeah, it's for me. Yeah, at that price point. Look, just as a 1 week punt, I'd rather go for Dominic Solanke, strictly just because Solanke is going to play Burnley. All right.
Yeah.
So you could do that. Another player that you might want to go for, no,
You see, that's
Brentford's fixtures
that's the thing.
aren't really that good. There aren't that many people. The only other person you might possibly want to look at, but you would probably have more information on this, is Nketiah. All right. I know the other day you were speaking about Nketiah. I don't want to hear nothing about that guy. Okay. Because I probably think that Jesus is the guy.
Yeah.
But here's another better option. Yao Pedro. He's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying.
I think he will definitely start. I definitely think he will play all those games.
Same.
Maybe not start all of them, but maybe a majority of those 4 or 5 games that are coming up for Brighton.
And he's cheaper he's on penalties. So, and the fixtures are more favorable, and they're longer as well. So, yeah, maybe he is a better option.
Exactly.
To Jesus and Nketiah, to be honest, Arteta would, out of the 6 games that, Jesus says fully fit, I don't think it's enough. I would really want my striker starting every game, bro. Jesus, out of the 6 games, Jesus will play and start 4. I think he won't start the other 2. That's it fully fit. And I say that because as of recording now, which is Wednesday, Jesus had a hamstring, which they're doing scans, and I think we'll hear if you haven't heard already, you'll probably get the updates on like what it is. So yes, and Nketiah is also another nice budget enabler. I think he's at 5.5, if not 5.4. I don't think he would have gone up. But
yeah, 5.5.
If Jesus is injured, then and he can't play, then I think I would take the punt on Eddie Nketiah because I think Trossard would only really come in for Gabriel Martinelli, because you need that. Eddie Nketiah gives that energy which Jesus gives, so I would rather have him down the middle. Look, just want to move on quickly, but budget enabler in defense is Tsimikas. I don't want you guys to say, you didn't mention Tsimikas. Definitely, look, as we mentioned about the Tottenham players and stuff like that, I would not have Dogi. He's just here based on ownership, and I would have Tsimikas there. It would definitely free up a 4.0. Yeah, that's for me. That's what I would do within that defense. But I'm very happy with the defense. I wouldn't change anything else. I think it covers what we want. It covers a West Ham. It covers a Arsenal. Covers a Aston Villa. Covers a very great Newcastle, and then also it covers.
It covers all the teams with the best
fixtures,
defensive fixtures that will get you points.
Yeah.
In particularly those players. Like a Cash who can get you offensive points as well. Not just the clean sheet as well. I mean, with Gabriel, it's more. It's not really offensive, but I mean, it's more clean sheet than anything because he's got a couple of fixtures that you can get clean sheets from.
Yeah, one thing for me though is, in all honesty, the way Brighton's fixtures are so good, I honestly would consider Estupinian, in my opinion. Sorry, my dog is moving light. Ravi. I would consider Stupinian because I'm just looking at their fixtures and like they've actually had they've played the tough guys. When I say attacking guys, and they've conceded against most of them. Like easy guys they played, which I think is Wolves or Brentford, not Wolves. I can't remember. If you look at their fixtures, they had scored one against them. So guys with good attacking properties scored against them heavily, but the guys with non-good attacking. So it brings me to question: is their defense really that bad? I'm not saying I'm gonna pick a Stupinian for clean sheets, no, but the probability of clean sheets and most definite attacking returns. That's why I would consider him, because of the fixture run and how good they are. So if he gets fit, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm most likely gonna start looking.
Yeah, look, I mean, if he is fit and you can squeeze him in, then yeah, do that. I mean, let's be honest, he's probably behind Trippier, he's probably the best attacking fullback in the league, or in FPL anyway. He does get a lot of points. So if you can, then why not? I mean, they got good fixtures.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, I mean, clearly I don't think they're going to get, clean sheets in all of them, but yeah, those fixtures are more better for the attacking. For the attacking part of it. So, and we all know he's a big part of that. Yeah. So, once he's fit, then maybe you should look at him.
Yeah. Cool, man. Let's move on to the teams. I'm going to zoom past mine. Wow. The most amazing team, guys. Cats team.
Lies.
So this is my team reveal. Honestly, I'm not going to make any changes unless any real opportunities present itself. But I've already taken a 8-point hit to bring in my opinion, essentials. What I did was I took out Son and Madison, and I took out Morrison, and I brought in Bowen, Diaby, and Watkins. And then, I've set up in a 3-4-3. With Gordon on the bench. So this is going to be my game week 10 team. I'm honestly not going to be making any changes. Right now, I'm fully confident everybody's going to play. I might have a question mark on Simicast, but his substitution was a tactical one in the Liverpool game. Other than that, man. Yeah. Chaps, what you think?
Wow. I can't believe you still had Mars there. Like, geez. After so long.
Man. I mean, I wasn't going to waste the thingy. I wasn't going to waste the, what's this? Transfer on him. I was only going to transfer him out the moment I needed to, which was now. So he was always going to sit on my bench. He was never like a central player. He was just brought in for that week.
Yeah, well, I see, like, literally your team's template. I mean, the only people that I don't see what template here is your goalkeeper, literally. But other than that, it's like straightforward template.
And part of the plan.
Understandably, the three Aston Villa players, and then obviously Bowen we spoke about, and then the obvious Salah and Haaland are there. I see you've gone with that choice. The interesting thing is that we've gone with all top three strikers. Alvarez, Haaland, and Watkins. I'm sure you don't have any money in the bank.
Actually, I got 0.9.
0.9. Oh wow, that's not bad. Well, I can see that probably most of it. Yeah, that money is probably because you still got Botman and Akanji sitting on the bench. Well, red flagged anyway.
Yeah, I'd actually have more if
that's
I substituted them out. I'd get the cheaper guys.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to.
Yeah, look, I understand you've gone there, but I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I understand why you took the 8-point hit to bring in those three guys because of the fixtures, and why you took out the people that you took out, and we spoke about them, Son and Madison in particularly. So yeah, no real arguments, no real arguments.
Yeah, you're right. We spoke
Do
about.
you feel that not having Trippier, are you not afraid of not having him?
I'm definitely afraid of not having him to a certain extent. I feel like that was my sacrifice because I did try and see if I can have him, and I can, but it would require me, like legit, it would require me to have another 8-point hit. So all I'd do is take out Gordon and Akanji and Bowen, and then I'll put a Palmer to enable, and I'll put a 3.9 defender Taylor, of course, and then I'd have who's this guy, and then I'd have Trippier. So I was like, okay, cool. Is Trippier worth another 8-point hit? He's playing Wolves. Neto and Gang are good. Trippier and Gang are good. But I think if Trippier and Gang are not on it, they'll thingy because Trippier and Gang played top teams and top teams penetrated. Well, let's say good attacks. I think Wolves has a good enough attack to penetrate. What's this thing? Newcastle's thingy. On top of that, Newcastle's playing away. You know what I mean? So Wolves having home advantage, I'm like, these guys, they have to score one goal at least. I mean, Pedro Neto, whose wing is he going to be on? He's on the right wing. So who's on there? Burn. Oh, man.
Yeah.
He'll sort him out, dog. I shame he'll sort him out.
Let's not discredit Burn. Okay,
No. Burn
he's come up against he's come up against tougher players and he's done pretty well. Let's be honest.
He has.
Okay, let's not diss Burn like that.
I'm not.
Right? Let's not diss Burn like that.
Good.
He's done pretty well.
But Pedro, he needs to come to Arsenal, dog. I won't lie to you. Shame. Saka can get injured. Pedro walk straight in, dog. It's fine, But I just believe they'll concede. And then, this game, and then there's a game after the Arsenal game. I can't remember what it is. Those are the only two fixtures I'm like, definite, I think they'll concede in the Arsenal game. They might concede in this game. The game after that, I think it might just actually be Bournemouth. I can't remember, but it's like a Saki team. A team that they'll definitely get a thing. And then after that, like for the next 2-3 fixtures in a row, they got opponents which I'm just like, I know. I think they got Chelsea there. I think they'll concede, They got another team. I'm just like, nah, they're going to concede. The fixtures get better round like, I think 15, 14. So I'm like, you know what? If I have to bring Trippier in, then I'll bring him in then when I know like, he's got a proper good run of fixtures. But I don't want to spend 7 million in the back, bro. And it's conceding. I want to spend.
Yeah, but I mean, no. For me, I feel you're looking at the wrong. You're looking at the wrong way. You're looking at it in terms of giving you clean sheet points. This is Trippier we're talking about.
No.
This is a guy who's almost rivaling Trent in his better days.
His prime time.
This guy.
But here's the thing.
Yes, exactly.
This
guy is accumulating bonus and assist points on a regular basis.
No.
Right? So this guy, this season...
that time when Trent was thinking, the reason why, like you're saying, the reason why he was thinking, he was really, booming is because the team, Liverpool in itself, was also great defensively. So you were guaranteed a clean sheet. You understand? I'm not saying they're not good defensively. They're good defensively, man. Like, let's not argue about that. My thing is, in this specific run of fixtures, I don't I don't see. Let me see if we can just see this again. Where's Newcastle here? Yeah, they have Bournemouth, and then they have Chelsea, and then After that, if I go back to what we used to have, I hide that and I go to Newcastle again. So after Bournemouth and Chelsea, then they have Man United. I'm not saying you have a good attack, no. Then they get Everton, and then they get Tottenham. So it's like on, off, and I'm just like, hey,
But you know why I feel that in the tougher fixtures that you just mentioned now, why I feel they can do better is because those tough fixtures they're playing at home. And what I've noticed about Newcastle ever since last season, at home, they are a really, really good team. I mean, like a really, really good team.
hey, but
Now these guys thrash PSG at home. Like Mbappe led team at home. Mbappe was literally nothing in that game. All right, okay, maybe they had like one or two chances, but like they kept that team quiet. You know, these guys are showing certain levels when it
but
comes to
didn't
playing at
Mbappe and
home.
them score one goal?
No, I think it was 4-0.
Nah,
I think it was.
I think it was 4-1, bro. Either way,
You sure?
I honestly think it was 4-1.
Yeah, but either way, the fact that they were playing at home, right, and they managed to thrash that team, all right, um, and also against Newcastle. Newcastle is good defensively, all right. I'm not saying they're that good offensively, but I mean, like Newcastle was nothing to them,
No,
nothing.
dude, look,
Newcastle, sorry, Palace. Like Crystal Palace was nothing. They were nothing. They ran through them like hot knife through butter.
yeah,
So
but
I'm not saying they'll do the same against Arsenal and Chelsea. They'll be a little bit tougher.
yeah,
But
and that's the other
Man
thing.
United and Chelsea are not really that good. So playing them at home, I think it's an easier game for them. I think with the Arsenal game, that's going to be a hell of a tough game.
The
That's going
Arsenal
to be
and
a tough
the
game.
Chelsea game, because Chelsea's got a good defense. Chelsea's got a good.
Ah,
No, the team wasn't really necessarily, but Chelsea don't concede much. Chelsea
yeah,
don't.
they don't. That's why I'm saying it'll be a tough game. I'm not saying Newcastle's going to win by 4 goals or something crazy like that.
No. I
It'll
know,
be
but
a tough game.
like
But
less
what I'm
goals,
saying is that
more chances of
Chelsea
getting
doesn't
scored.
have, for me, Chelsea doesn't have enough to break through that Newcastle defense. You get what I'm saying? Um, you know, um, those goals that they had against Arsenal, they were really flimsy. They had that penalty. It was lucky,
Let me try put it.
and
I know. Let me try put it more plain and simple. For 7 million, I am paying for definite clean sheets and attacking returns, right? Whereas for, let's say, for example, a Stupinian, who's legit the cheaper version, literally the cheaper version of thingy. The reason why I would consider him is because I know I'm paying little. I'm paying 5 million. If he doesn't get an attacking return and a clean sheet, I'm like, okay, cool, dog, cool. Like I understand you. Firstly, you hardly you're gonna get something or whatever. If I'm gonna pay 2 more million, I have to get both a clean sheet and a taken return. If I'm not, I might as well go to a Stupinian and get the same. Literally get the same. Someone who's gonna give me an attacking return,
yeah, but
not a clean sheet.
look. For instance, when they played West Ham, they drew 2-2. But this guy got 6 points. He got 6 points.
Yeah, dog.
Why? Because he got an assist and he got bonus points.
But like I said, Chabe,
He
like
got bonus points from conceding 2 goals.
That's the same.
Where do you get a defender like that? That's what I'm saying.
Stupinian did the exact same thing. I believe it was in game week 2. He conceded, and he still had 6 points.
Yeah, but Stupinian is injured. He's not here.
Yeah,
he's injured.
Okay, fine. Not a Stupinian. Cash. There's Cash. There's my Trippier.
Cash, that guy. Who did they play just now?
And he's got better.
Who did they play just now?
They played who's this guy? Bowen. And the goal was not lucky, but like it shouldn't have really been given. They almost got a clean sheet. You understand? This guy's playing Luton at home. That's a show in for me.
Almost. But there were games where they should have had clean sheets but they didn't.
And that for me gives my point even more, dog. Like I'd rather pay that 5 million for cash.
I mean, look, these guys couldn't even keep a clean sheet against Burnley, Aston Villa. They couldn't keep Burnley. Like they couldn't keep a clean sheet against Wolves. Oh my God! The only clean sheet they've had really is against Everton. Okay, Everton suck, but I mean, like hell. I mean, and they beat Chelsea 1-0. They kept a clean sheet against Chelsea.
Considering the run of fixtures and money, I'd rather pay 2 million less for cash, knowing I can get a attacking return. But I'm very most likely, because I've got a World Cup winning keeper behind me and some nice guys from the Spanish league in the center defense who are going to be keeping clean sheets for me. I'd rather pay 5 million for that than pay another 2 million for someone who's most likely going to get a goal, get conceded against every second week and whatever.
All right. You see, this is where Goba would come in and be the deal breaker for this debate.
Yeah, right? He's
yes. Now he's like he's sick. Yeah.
Let's go to your team,
this is why you need it.
This is why you need it. Let's go to your team. All right. Chabi, explain this mess that you've got going on here. Tell me what's popping here, Doug. Oh, do you want me to start?
No, look, it is what it is. I've activated my wild card. This is my latest draft. So yeah. I'm sure you guys probably wondering, hey, what is that guy next to Salah there in the red shirt?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like it's the real talking point, but it's not a bad pick. I'm not thinking it's not a bad pick. It's actually a punt that you're taking, which I like. But you convince us. You know what I mean? Convince us. And like, why? Is he a budget enabler for you? I see Palmer. You know, how much money do you have in the bank? I got so many questions, bro. Like, I'm just.
No, I've got like hardly got any money in the bank. I've got like 0.3, I think it is. So, yeah, literally.
Why don't you go for Gabriel if you want to get like some more money? Oh, is there anybody? Yeah, okay, fine. Sorry, I'm taking over. Please, just do your thing.
No, look. Yes, I've got a wild card, but I've got some money in Saliba, so I didn't want to lose him. You know, because I don't trust that whole, you know, Gabriel versus Arteta thing because of what happened in the beginning of the season. So I'll just stick with Saliba. And then, yeah, I brought in Tsimikas because, you know, sort of a budget enabler, you know. And then, yeah, cash is cash. Trippier, you know my argument for Trippier. Plus, I've got some money in Trippier now that he's gone up in price. Twice now, I think. So I've got some money in him. And then, yeah, I literally just bought in literally I brought in Saka, Zoboslai, Salah. Mitoma has been there for like since day one. And then, yeah, I brought in Watkins as well. Then everybody else I just defer. And then pretty much, yeah, don't have that much money in the bank. This is it. So, yeah, probably the reason why I don't have that much money is because of 6.8 or 9, I think it is now for me. So he has most of the cash, and then obviously Salah and Haaland. So yeah, the reason why I still have Haaland is, you know, I don't know, it's too soon to let him go. I will let him go, but not yet. Not with United and Bournemouth coming up. Because those two fixtures are too good to let him go. Look, I could have gone for just like you, gone for Alvarez and maybe a third striker, you know, as a cheap option. But yeah, I just feel like he's gonna kill them in the next two fixtures. So unless if he gets injured, then obviously I'll take him out. And then with Zoboslai, what I've done there, Yeah, basically, look, I couldn't afford, with the money that I had left was 7.3. I couldn't afford Bowen because he's 7.7 or something like that. And who else did I want? I
Bowen
couldn't
is
afford Jota.
7.4, 7.4, 7 point, yeah, 7.4, 7.3.
Yeah, but either way, I only had 7.3. I was short of 0.1. So either way, I just fell short. So and I couldn't afford Jota as well. So yeah, and I didn't want to go to Ward Prowse because, yeah, like I said earlier on, Ward Prowse isn't just doing he's not doing the things for me. Look, I could have gone for Diaby, but I felt like seeing him in the last game against West Ham, I just felt like he really didn't do much for me. So yeah, it's look, I can still bring him. I can. It'll depend. Um, yeah. It's just look, like I said, this is just one of my many drafts. It could still change, but the reason why I went with Zobazai is that he's literally the only other option that was left. Liverpool have got good run of fixtures, and yes, this season he hasn't done much in terms of goals and assists, but I like the way that he plays. In terms of he drives into the box. He can shoot that long range ball. He can take a free kick here and there. You know what I mean? So, and he's not that bad in terms of you know making a good pass here and there. So it's not like he plays in that deep lying six role like McAllister.
Nah, dude, like,
McAllister is very, so
yeah,
he's the one always going into the box,
no,
of a player.
like I
So
said, he's a good
that's why I
decision.
chose him.
He's a good decision, bro. He's honestly like he's the differential that you have from everybody else's wild card. For me, I guess like because my strategy is so different, it's honestly like stick to the template until stick with the marathon until like you get the point where you need to like split away from the pack. And for me, like I would just having that mindset, I would honestly just try and find that zero point 0.1 for Bowen. I would rather go Bowen over Diaby. To be honest, for this game week, if I'm taking a 1 week punt, it would be Diaby over Bowen. But if I don't want to make too many substitutions, I would go in for Bowen. Find that zero point 0.1. I like your choice of John Stone. I would rather keep John Stone over Areola actually, and I'll just take Areola out and I'll put in Turner, and there's your zero point 0.1, and you've got your what's this? Your Bowen, and it's because of what we said about Bowen. Bowen long term, he's got those fixtures. I feel like Soberschlei is a worse version of Odegaard. He'll give you Soberschlei is gonna get his haul. It might even be in these row fixtures. You know what I mean? Because they're looking better and they're looking great. But you can't say he's a week in week out person. Whereas your Bowen and
Yeah,
your
not to get your point. So yeah,
yeah, your Bowen and Diaby, those guys can come in at hot flashes, especially because the fixtures are looking good for them. So I feel like if you can't scratch for that zero point 0.1, again, I would honestly do Turner instead of Areola. And then I'll keep Johnstone because Johnstone is looking good for Crystal Palace and the defense is looking good. And they've got a brilliant run of fixtures straight after this Tottenham game. That's who I'm going to bring in next game week. But that's what I would do with this. Everything else, dog, is good, bro. It's good. It's fine. I see your budget enablers on the bench, Wimo and Gani. That's fine. I think from the defensive point of view, I'd probably instead of Mengi, I would bring in Lamptey wasn't. I'd bring in
yeah.
Igor.
If Lamptey,
Yeah, I'd bring
yeah,
in
but I
Igor.
think Ego. No, I think Ego might be a little bit more expensive.
Oh, then I'd try.
Um,
I'd try. Basically, I'd try a 4.0, 3.9 from Brighton. I would try. That's what basically I'm taking that punt. In the end of the day, it's a 3.0. It's a 3.9. It's a 4.0. They're sitting on your bench. If you put them in and they play, then hey, you know what I mean? Yeah, dog. Like there's gonna come a time where those guys are playing Luton and you're like the other good guys are playing like bad guys and you're like, you know what? Dude, come off the bench. Let's see if you play. You know what I mean? If you play, good. If you don't, yeah, because Luton, for you to put in a Luton budget enabler, it's a definite ass whooping. It's a definite no thingy, you know. Yeah. Otherwise, bro.
But at least, but at least with Mengi and Mubama, they're like so far down my bench that they'll hardly get playing time.
Yeah,
at
of
least
course.
my first pick is Palmer, who's getting more game time. And my starting 11, we can all confirm that right now they always play, right? Like literally they always play. So there will be no chance of them not playing if they're fit.
Yeah, and even if you don't, like you said, he's a good first bench, so it's fine, bro. That's what I'm saying. The team is fine, bro. The only thing I'll do is try and get a goal, and that's it.
So basically, my plan, because I'm on wildcard, basically my plan is, like I said, keep Haaland for the next 2 games, and then sell him. And then once I do sell him, then I'll have real money, which I can then just spend everywhere else. Like literally, have out of my 15 players, have 12 strong, or even 13 strong players in my team, you know. So but yeah, for now, with the budget restrictions, this is probably the best I can do. I think probably what I'll do from now on, you might find difference that when the actual game week starts, is maybe Zoboszlai might be changed, but other than that, the rest of the team looks set. So
yeah. Cool, man. Let's go to Goba's team. Rip it another hole. Rats. All rats. Mr. I can't make it. This is his team. So he confessed, he just set it up. He hasn't made any changes yet before we start ripping it a hole. He said he knows we're gonna rip it another hole. I don't want to say what hole, but you know which hole I'm talking about. Well, I stick by what I say with G. He's got 3. He's got 3 Tottenham.
Wait, did he say he already made changes?
He hasn't made changes yet. I think, remember, he said he's got one transfer. And I was like, bro, just take out Sterling and bring in somebody. Bring in Bowen. If you've got that extra money, he's got that money in the bank, bring in Bowen, And he's slightly towards the thing, because I don't know. Look, Brentford is a.
But you know what? I actually think for this game week, Sterling can stay against Brentford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sterling is a good enough.
I think maybe the better option is Maddison. Take on Maddison, bring in Bowen, have him long term, and then the following game we take out Sterling, because Sterling has a even harder fixture, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when they have Spurs. So at least by then you won't have Maddison or Sterling, playing each other, because they would have been replaced by Bowen and I don't know, somebody else that you're gonna pick for Sterling. So
who would you have
for me to start with?
Who would you have playing, Højlund or Sterling? Højlund at Old Trafford, eh?
Well, not for this game week. Definitely not for this game
week. For this game week. Who would you rather have?
Yeah, look, for this particular game week, only one change needed. Remove Maddison, bring in Bowen, done. That's it.
Yeah, I'm saying, Pella.
And then the following game week.
Starting.
Yeah,
I know your
starting.
changes, but starting. Who would you rather have on starting, Hoyland or Sterling?
Sterling. Sterling. Well, with Sterling, there's a possibility he can create, you know. Whereas with Hoyland, he's literally just a target man. So with Sterling, there's a possibility he can create for you. So um, yeah, that's it pretty much.
Yeah, I just don't like the Tottenham players, bro. I would honestly take a hit to take one of these Tottenham players out, and also just bring in Timmy bro. That's what
He's got too many Tottenham defenders, though.
that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. Like
It's
Romero,
like,
I'd take out Romero and put in Tsimikas. Then I'll put Pedro on the bench first, and put Tsimikas to be playing there in that back three.
but who's more expensive? I'll take out the more expensive player.
No, you know what the thing is. Either way, he's got value locked up in these guys. I think he's got more value. Nah, maybe not. I'm sure he bought Pedro at 5 million because I'm sure Pedro
Yeah,
like
probably.
5.1 or 5.2 now. Either way, if Pedro Porro is the more expensive one, but he's very good attacking. He's almost somewhat fixture proof in defense. Not necessarily, but compared to Pedro and Romero, I would rather take out Romero, dog. I'll take out Romero and I'll put Tsimikas. Either way, you're gonna save. To me, Romero's 4.9, but he probably bought him at 4.7, 4.8. So he's putting more money in the bank. He'll be able to put it somewhere else. He's gonna save money with Madison to Bowen or Diaby, whichever one he goes with. Yeah, man. Yeah. Or 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 another punt he could take if he wants to is we're gonna say is a Watkins. But nah, it's too much money to go up.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think he's got 2 million in the bank, so
Oh
he
really?
can take
Oh, it's
Hoyland
the
up.
money in the bank. It's the money in
Yeah,
the
I
bank.
think he does actually. I think that's how much he's got in the bank. So let me go just check up on him.
Makes
Yeah, he's got about like 2 million in the bank. So
uh,
he can upgrade. He can upgrade Hoyland, bruh. Put in
uh,
Hoyland, replace.
Madison.
Yeah,
The
probably
thing is,
replace
Madison is
Madison,
facing
and
a
then
good
go three four
team.
three.
Yeah, and go 3-4-3. And then you see, yeah, actually, I'll do that. I'll substitute, I'll take out Hoyland and I'll take out Romero. I'll bring in Timikas and I'll bring in Thingy for a hit, Watkins. And then I'll take Timikas and I'll put him in the back there. And at least then he's got a Madison sitting on the bench. You know what I'm saying? He's got a Madison sitting on the bench and he's got a Pedro Porro on the bench. He's got like a good bench then. You know what I mean? Well, he's
Yeah, so he's got money to play with. So the only problem is he going to take a hit to fix his team up? Because if he doesn't, he's going to miss out on a lot of good fixtures for players like Bowen, Timikas. He's got like no Liverpool players, no Liverpool players. So yeah, he's going to miss out on Bowen, Liverpool players.
he has to hope
Who
Haaland
else?
delivers. He has to hope Haaland. I saw you had the captaincy
Yeah,
in
pretty
Haaland as
much.
well. So you going with Haaland?
Look, I might change. I might change, but yeah, I really think he's gonna kill United. I really do.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, Goba, we'll save you anymore. We've ran up so much, honestly. We've got wives. We've one who love us, and yeah, we want to get back
We
to.
need our attention.
Yeah, we need our attention. So, guys, thank you for joining us. You still have time, but don't forget the deadline is on Friday, not on Saturday. So make sure that you've locked your team in. Chabe, make sure you've pressed save pick the right captain because I know you. Right. I saved the captain and it didn't save. I don't know. You make up these
I've learned my lesson. Okay, I've learned my lesson.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than that, guys, wish you a good game week. Not as good as mine. Check you out. Yeah, man. Peace.